is a follow-up to YouTube subscriber TubeDupe's question: how does your method relate to choosing tools chapter numbering from the menu? So first thing I'd like to state here is that the version of LibreOffice which I actually demonstrated in the tutorial was version 5.1.6.2, which is a reasonably old version. I do have a newer version on another machine, which is version 6.4.7.2. If we look at the older version, look at the Tools menu, there is no chapter numbering option. In this version, the outline numbering menu option takes you to the same dialog box as Tools chapter numbering. I tend not to use this dialog box, so I'm going to demonstrate how I would do the chapter numbering. We're going to select the chapter, and then we're going to create a chapter style. So make sure that you have the paragraph styles selected, choose new style, and let's give it a name. Chapter heading. You see it's added it to here, so I'm going to right click it, choose modify. Now I'm going to work my way through each of the tabs to actually create a chapter style. So nothing needs doing on the organizer tab, so I'm going to indents and spacing, make sure these are all set to 0, which they are. Looking at the alignment tab, yes, it's left, which is perfect. Text flow, I'm actually going to want to insert a page break before each chapter heading, so it puts the chapter heading at the top of a brand new page. On the font tab, I'm actually going to choose a fairly heavy font. And choose the caps version of it. I'm going to make it bold and I'm going to make it big. So we'll choose 40 point. There's nothing on the font effects tab. The next tab that I want to look at is the outline tab. Here I'm going to set the numbering style to numbering 1. I'm going to look at the area tab because I want to put a block of colour behind my chapter heading, and I'm going to be very bold and use a nice bright orange. And then to make sure that I actually have enough a big block of colour which is above and below the text, I'm going to go to the borders tab, select borders. So I'm going to apply a border, but then I'm going to actually make the border width 0. I'm going to set the spacing to contents to 0 for them all and then unsynchronize. I'm then going to set a space above the text or below the upper border and at the bottom of the box, which would be between the bottom border and the bottom of the text, and then I'm going to hit OK. As you can see, it's created a nice bold chapter heading. If I choose my second chapter down here, apply chapter heading, it's automatically put it onto the next page. Now I'm going to apply my outline heading numbering in the way that I demonstrated in the original video by using the heading here and then telling these headings to use outline numbering like this, 1.1, 1.1.1, and then I'm going to continue numbering my headings. Now I don't know if you noticed this, but we have chapter 1 with a heading 1, but also within this chapter we can actually have a level 1 heading at heading number 2. So we can actually have a chapter with multiple level 1 headings, doing it this way. If we actually use the heading 1 to do the chapter numbers, then the highest heading numbered heading that we could actually have within the chapter would be 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. By doing it this way as well, we can actually get out of sync, but we've got chapter 2 with heading 3 being the first heading in chapter 2. Okay, now we've actually created our chapter headings. I want to demonstrate how to include these in a table of contents. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put an extra page at the beginning by putting my cursor there and pressing Ctrl Enter, which puts a page break. I'm going to select this chapter heading and tell it it's not actually a chapter heading and to use the default style. We now have a nice blank page. Using the menu, do Insert, Table of Contents and Index, Table of Contents, Index and or Bibliography. And in the dialog box we're going to choose Index or Table of Contents tab. We're going to leave everything as is and click on OK. As we can see, the table of contents does not actually include the chapter headings. To make the table of contents include the chapter headings, we right click on the table of contents, choose Edit, Index or Table of Contents. We click on the Add Additional Styles checkbox and push the Assign Styles button. We can see here a list of the styles which I actually used in the actual document, and there is chapter heading. I can click on the double right arrow button and it moves the chapter heading to level 1. I could press it multiple times and move the chapter heading to, for example, level 3. This would mean that it actually appears at the same level in the table of contents as the 1.1.1 level of headings. That's not what I want, so I'm going to move it back to level 1. Click on OK, click on OK again, and we can now see our chapter headings are in our table of contents.